All right, now we're going to start, I feel, really having some fun, having some good conversation here. Anybody ever read the book Built to Last? It was written in 1999. Excellent. Fantastic book. And even though it's 1999, there were 7 years of research that went into Built to Last. And what were they doing? They were looking for companies that are built to last. So they wanted to see what are the similarities about those organizations. And I love that book because it gave us the term cult-like cultures. Ooh, sounds scary, doesn't it? Jim Jones, drinking the Kool-Aid. That's what it used to be. Funny how that don't drink the Kool-Aid or they drank the Kool-Aid has turned into a bit of a euphemism at work, hasn't it? Uh-oh, they drank the Kool-Aid. That's what it's like. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. That is a cult-like culture, okay? But these cult-like cultures have this really strong sense of identity, of brand. They know who they are, okay? They have a greater experience in fit because they're crystal clear about their selection process and about how they get people in. They also show this really interesting evidence of elitism. What do? Self-selected out. Save Southwest some money? You bet. Because that pilot could have been the best pilot, could have flown a 737 through a donut hole. But he wasn't the kind of pilot that was going to land a plane and say, all rise. He just wasn't going to do it. And that is how exacting the Southwest culture is in the hiring process. You think they get cultural fit? Oh, sure they do. Sure they do. They understand who they are, but more importantly, who they are not. Liberty Mutual spent close to $40 million on a branding campaign. That was employment brand and consumer brand. Okay, so let's address that question right now. Is employment brand the same as our consumer brand? The answer is no, but it should be aligned, okay? It should be aligned. Your employment brand cannot be complete opposite of your consumer brand because there are a lot of employees that might come to work for your organization because of your consumer brand, because they believe in the product, because they're attracted to that industry. Why am I so interested in Liberty Mutual? I'll share a personal fact. I do not watch television, okay? I don't watch television. I watch TiVo, which is really quite different. Because with TiVo, you don't have to watch the commercials, right? So I never see a commercial, not interested in them. But one night, I got up, went out of the room, and it had taped the commercial, so the commercial's playing. I hear this music. I'm like, what is that? I go in, I sit down, and I listen to the music. I watch the commercial, and at the end of it, I had goosebumps. I was like, whoa. I had a visceral reaction to this particular commercial. I'm a data geek, so I paused my TiVo, I went and got on the internet, I looked up Liberty Mutual, I looked up the company that did this brand, and they had a blog. So I started reading the blog. Attract, retain, repel. A little bit down in the blog, there's an entry from a middle manager. It says, hey, I work in an area where there's, 7 or 8 large insurance companies. And I decided to make a change. And I went and I put my resume in at 3 or 4 of these organizations. And then last night I saw your television commercial. I just want to let you know I called this morning the HR team and said, I want to come to work for you. Attract? Oh, yeah. A little further in the blog, there's an entry. It says, I heard about our new branding campaign, but I hadn't seen anything on it yet. And last night I saw it on TV. I've been with this company 7 years. I hope I stay and end my career here. Retain?
I am carrying this When it's people who do the right thing, they call it being responsible. When it's an insurance company, they call it Liberty Mutual. Responsibility. What's your policy? Liberty Mutual.
Again, it's in the messaging, it's in the brand. This got so popular that they had elementary school teacher after teacher after teacher writing on that blog, how do I get a clip? How do I get a clip? How do I get a clip? I want to show it to my students. It's all that pay it forward, right? In response to that, Liberty Mutual actually set up a division called Responsibility and goes out into the community and gives speeches about this. That it took on a life of its own, right? I love going to speak at organizations, though, that everyone's in the same industry, like a healthcare conference or something. Because then we start asking the question in rooms of 80 and 100 people, how many of you think that you are competitors? And they are, all of them. They're competing for the talent. And the best way to compete for talent is to differentiate yourself from someone who does something similar that you do. Just like selling your services, selling your product. Show me how it's different. Why should I buy a Firestone tire over a Goodyear tire? Is it just price? Maybe. Well, if that's the case, then why should I work at call center A or call center B? They're paying the same thing. So we have to differentiate the experience. How long is it going to take for us to create this brand and message it out? We talked about how much it was going to cost. Great. How long is it going to take? It should not take you more than 1 to 3 months to do a diagnostic, and that's whether it's looking at your old employee satisfaction surveys or engaging with an organization to do an internet-based survey for you and get you the results. 1 to 3 months max. 3 to 6 months, now you got to build an employee value proposition that we just looked at, and we got to maybe go out to a recruitment ad agency, start talking about some video, right? I love CEOs who tell me, do you know, people are our most important and most valuable asset. People are our most valuable asset. And I'll go online and do a brand scan for them, and I'll say, no, 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 no. Microsoft Office stock photo people are your most valuable asset, because there's not one of your people on the website. There's not one real person there. They're all, you know, the African American, the Asian, and the Caucasian. And they're all happy, right? Everybody smiles, hugs, woo! Not real people. Okay, so 3 months. And think about the employees, though. When you do use real people, how proud that can make them. That they're on, that you cared enough about them to put them on the website. Now, just a word of caution. Just like that social networking, somebody has to own that, because once people terminate or filter out of the organization, you want their picture down off the website. You got to have the commitment, though. We go back to the survey. 89%, our employment brands helps us to attract top talent. 60%, it's a strategic initiative. 49%, we have budget for it, okay? So if you're going to go down the path, you have to ensure that you've got some kind of executive sponsorship. Tony Hsieh tweeting his little hands off for Zappos. You've got a plan, you've got data, and you've got a realistic picture of a budget that is going to take you to get from where you are today to where you want to be. So current state to desired state. You want to know a really interesting, very interesting trend that we are seeing? To apply for an organization, when you go on the career site, you want more information, right? You want to maybe do an application through their ATS. There's now this little gatekeeper screen that comes on and says, these are our 5 pillars of excellence. Do you agree with these values? Yes. Now you're in. No. Bye-bye. Okay? It's brilliant. Attract, retain, repel. Get the repel in there. Give them something to self-select out so it can save you money.